point that teachers should play the role of a facilitator and collaborator. And my personal favorite is peer interaction. Thank you so much. Thank you. Uh, Now I welcome our fourth panelist, Mr. P. Kadiresan, Principal, Navneeta Public School, Nellore, to please add to the discussion. So please unmute yourself.
Good
Welcome.
evening, everybody. Yeah. A warm, excuse me. A warm thanks to the organizers. Lovely, I'm able to, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, sir, you're audible.
Uh, uh, my thanks to the organizers for inviting me for this wonderful session, and uh, thanks to fellow panelists for sharing your views, which are more or less the same, which I would like to render now. Um, yeah. Let's go back to, say, the month of March 22nd was the lockdown. So somewhere from the early March, it was all about COVID, how to take precautions, all those things, and then all of a sudden we were put to this lockdown where everything brought, were brought to a halt. Nobody thought of education being stopped. I've never have dreamt such a scenario where I would, even as a student, I would be enjoying 6 or 7 months of vacation. And holding the children during the vacations is the most toughest job for the parents, right? But still, education cannot be stopped, or the process of transfer of knowledge or the process of trans, uh, educational transactions cannot be brought to an end abruptly, and hence we need to engage the children was the first ever thought during the lockdown. And very quickly everybody grabbed the situation, and then they were quick into putting their shoes into this technology enabled classrooms. Never teachers would have thought of this virtual classrooms, because we were all habituated to the real time classroom where the children were children, teachers were teachers, teachers' job was to transact whatever is there in the textbook, and the children were those who had to listen, write their notes, complete their examination, go on a promotion, and all those. That was the job. Now, this COVID brought a real challenge to both the teachers and the children. Teachers how? They were not equipped technically to handle a virtual classroom. And the delivery of the content was another challenge, how to face it up. Now, how to monitor the learning of the children. All these things initially was the real challenge, but hats off to the teaching faculty across the world. They're very quick in adapting to the scenario and then changing their style of delivering. Children, children, of course, we have the problems of children attention span, the conceptualization, all those things. And believe me, we are not talking about the virtual classes. Now it is more prominent because we are forced for these virtual classrooms. But all these virtual classrooms had come in the form of a smart class, smart board teaching, all those things. They were used as tools for delivering their lessons, but now there is nothing else except using that. We as teachers or any professionals, we will have to use or upgrade ourselves in our delivery system. Otherwise, anything stagnant becomes purposeless or useless. Now, the first time mobile phones came into usage, it was just a basic model. Then you have the Android, the iPhones, tabs, etc. The critics were always the critics, and those who were using it most judiciously were using it for the purpose. Critics, when you have a watch and a clock, why do you need the time to be displayed in the mobile? What is the use of mobile? It goes battery down, all those kind of. But slowly they got adapted to the equip themselves to use the mobiles, and then so we are now connected across the world. Now we can very we are very fortunate that everybody is going to have at least a basic model of phone, and they are using it even without, even if he has not gone into a school or something, he is equipped with the mobile phone usage, etc. Right now, this scenario, how to bring education or the learning through virtual classroom. This is the available resource with the parents or at home. How to make use of that is the first kind of step towards virtual classrooms. Till date, let's keep aside the problems of connectivity, gadgetless home, etc. I probably come to the end of it. Now, imagine there is no classes happening at all, no real-time classes, no virtual classes for the last 6 months. And obviously, you have a question mark where children would really forget everything, even a ABCD could be forgotten because children are children, they would. And this platform of virtual classroom really helps us in the connectivity of mostly education. When we talk about education, education is only talked in the sense of transaction of knowledge or the concepts which is there in the textbook. Now, this connectivity, this medium helps in the connectivity of the concepts or the knowledge transaction, etc. More than a real classroom, children love animated versions. The animated versions of classrooms make the class very interesting and lively. The children are going to have an ocean of resources. If it's a real-time classroom, you have only one teacher and many children listening to. But now in the virtual platform, you have many resources. That's why I call it as an ocean of resources. You have different channels. You have the live recording classes. You have peer sharing, etc. Now, initially, this was again another kind of discussion when it was considered to be a challenge from the teaching community. They said we are not IT enabled teachers, IT persons to handle classes through IT technology enabled classes. We cannot because we are not IT professionals, and they were demanding for salaries equivalent to IT professionals. Right now, how quick they were able to grab the situation, the circumstances, and get along is the most initial hiccups, and then they are now into this platform where everybody is at ease delivering their lesson. Now, from here, we always have this education happening, and when most of the places considering it to be a rat race among the children, which is what is a custom happening in most of the schools in India. It doesn't happen abroad. We seriously, as Mr. Dushant was stating, we seriously have a disconnect in the kind of emotional, social, and other cognitive developments in the child because we are really missing them. A pat on the child's back should be speaking more than what we do it on a technology, on a virtual classroom. But still, this virtual, because children these days, they are with the gadget, they love gadgets, we have designed, we have used, we have made a purposeful usage of this gadget for the delivery. Post-COVID, we will have to use the same methodology, not the chalk and talk method. Have all your activity and enabled classroom, have your peer group learning, all those things, but also make sure that you have technology in place in your classes at least a week after the pandemic is over. I think I also bring this point, which I shared, I'll be telling later. I belong to a school here in Nellore. Nellore is a place in Andhra Pradesh which is towards the south, closer to Chennai, and my school is run by CSR initiative. Believe me, my students live under a hut, a thatched roof. They don't have a, Android. They don't have a iPhone. They just had a basic phone, and with this, it was a real challenge in bringing all of them or delivering the chapters, content, etc. Children's excitement through these classes were found when we started the offline mode and not the online mode. When we started sending them the classes, all of them on their own joined together, maintained social distancing. One of them took initiative, and they were learning themselves. Such a great kind of learning from this kind of virtual classroom for me, and I'm happy about it. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you so much, sir. I am really thrilled to hear that you have been contributing to that extent in this pandemic time. Thank you so much.
My
And
pleasure.
we definitely need to upgrade ourselves. Now, without any further delay, I welcome our fifth panelist, Ms. Sunitha Srivastava, founder principal, VLS International Public School, Bangalore, to share her views with us. Over to you, ma'am.